Yo, what's up? I know it's been a while since you've seen me, but I'm back. Had to take care of some personal shit, getting to it. Now we're back with some new sponsors, some new everything. So today I'm pretty excited. I'm going to try to watch my mouth because he's very professional.
I dress professional.
But he's professional. Today we got Gus Camacho. He is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, car dealer in the Antelope Valley, right? I mean,
yeah.
Fair to say, right?
That's fair to say, yeah.
Yep. So today we're going to discuss, him and his father and how they built this empire. Yeah, so good to have you on the show, man.
Well, thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me. Looking forward to this.
Of course. So let's talk about how you guys started. This was your father's company that he started, basically?
Yeah, he did. And it goes back to really it's an amazing story. It goes back to when my dad immigrated into the U.S. and he immigrated back in the 60s and came across the border with a work visa to work for. During that time, he was going to college in Mexico in Guadalajara, and they had this program where you can get a work visa to come work for the agriculture side.
Gotcha.
And then once you worked for a certain amount of time, it'd actually give you your green card. So they needed workers back then, so he was able to apply. And he tells me that he was on his last semester. He was going to graduate with his business degree. He worked at his bank. He was a banker, and he had this opportunity. And he had visited the U.S. before. We had an uncle out here that worked up in the Paso Robles, up in the grapes.
Oh yeah.
And so he had visited him before, and he just thought there was so much opportunity out here.
Sure.
So he gets this opportunity, and he had enough money saved up to pay for the attorney. But does he drop school, or does he continue with school? And so he made that decision. He said, he only had one semester left. I'm going to just drop it. This might be my only opportunity to do it. And, Guadalajara is beautiful. It's agriculture. Temperature is very similar to, LA.
Right.
It's very, very consistent. And he gets this work visa. He lands in, what was it? I think it was Iowa or Ohio. I can't remember. But wherever it was freaking cold. Right? And snowing. There's no snow in Guadalajara. It doesn't ever get that cold. You got a little Mexican guy. I'm a lot taller than my dad. He's a little short guy.
Right.
And he's a little short guy. He gets there, and he ends up working for the Dole family, who had a son at the time that was in college who ended up running for president at some time. Mm-hmm. So he's working for the Dole family, and he's shoveling hay and doing all kinds of stuff. And my dad's always been he's always had a good sense for business, a good sense for getting stuff done.
Gotcha.
You got a goal, you accomplish it, you get done with it.
Sure.
And so he's working in there, and this you remember he said it was a big tall white guy breaks down in front of the Dole ranch, and he needed some work. He needed to get his car fixed. He didn't have any money. Dole family was super nice. They said, why don't you help Mr. Camacho out in the barn and do some stuff? So this guy was really strong, and they're getting all the work done really fast. And then my dad came up with an idea. So they came and asked him. They said, hey, you guys are doing a great job. What's going on here? And my dad said, well, and he had talked to this guy before. He said, I'll put a deal together for you. He said, if you guys can sign me off, get me enough cash just to go where my uncle is in Paso Robles, he said, I think I can get this guy to work for you guys full time, and he can do double the work that I can because he's a big, strong guy. I'm a little guy.
Yep.
So he put the deal together, and that was my dad's first, I guess you could say his first deal in the U.S.
His first car deal.
Right, that without a car, yeah. And he said it ended up in Paso Robles, and worked his way doing some stuff in the wine industry, and then ended up working for the railroad. But while he was working for the railroad, he started selling cars for a Ford dealership up in Northern California, and that's really where he started his experience in the car business. Mm-hmm. And he ended up, I'm from the Antelope Valleys, born in Lancaster, raised in Lancaster, obviously first generation, and our weather out there, it's crazy, right? It gets freaking crazy hot, desert, right. And then it gets cold. So my dad's up in Northern California, and they offer him a position. He's going to go up to a supervisor type position for the railroad in Los Angeles area. So my dad's all, oh man, he was a single guy at the time. He's all got Hollywood, you got all the beautiful girls. Right. this is going to be great.
Gonna go party.
Oh, it's great. So they throw him on the train, and they used to have a train station in Palmdale.
Right.
So they drop him off. He gets out of the train station, and he's, oh my God, they sent me to hell. It's freaking hot. There's tumbleweeds coming down the road. He's like, what the heck am I going to do here? And he immediately calls back the railroad up north and says, hey, I got to get back, guys. This is ridiculous. And they said, no. They said, you come back, you got to start from the bottom. So, little did we know that was a blessing.
Sure.
Because that was where we were able to start our business and grow it from there. And, he opened up the car dealership, just a little used car lot back in 1980. And it was a perfect timing, from all the 80s through the 90s. Those were a lot of growth in the Antelope Valley, and we kind of grew with it.
Sure.
So it was a kind of perfect time to do that.
So 1980 was when Camacho Auto Sales was established,
Correct.
if you will, right? And then it was on Sierra Highway originally, right?
It was on Sierra Highway. Actually, where we're at now, our original store is still there, but it was a dirt lot. It was a trailer that my dad chained up to a post so that wouldn't steal the trailer. Gotcha. He didn't want his office to get stolen in the middle of the night.
Sure.
He had like 10 cars, and I was young at the time. I was 8 years old, and so I was there helping wash the cars, and my younger brother Caesar was there helping out as well too. We cleaned the toilet in the trailer,
right.
And my mom would help detail too, and he was out buying and selling cars, and that's kind of how the business started on a dirt lot on Sierra Highway.
Yeah, with a chained up trailer.
With a chained up trailer, yeah.
Like an old construction trailer, right?
Yeah.
So it's just you and your brother Caesar?
Yeah, my brother Caesar. And I've got two. And that's a whole nother story to tell one day. But I have two half brothers that we weren't aware of that I had.
Gotcha.
Kind of deal, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
But they came around and they're great guys. So Joe, he's my other brother. You probably met Joe.
Yep.
Yeah. He's worked for us. Right now he's doing his own thing with some motorhomes, but he worked for me for quite some time.
Okay.
And then I've got an older brother named Gus who, coincidentally, he ended up working for the car business, not for us though, but he worked for Toyota. He just retired.
Yeah.
But he worked for the manufacturer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was down in Mexico. The last gig he did, he was in Mexico, helping get all their plants together over there for the Tacoma trucks.
Gotcha. Yeah. So when you guys started, obviously you only had a couple of cars, and so what do you think? By the way, you went to college, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah, I did.
And you got your bachelor's?
Yeah, I got my bachelor's degree from
business
and business from Pepperdine University.
Okay, so you went to Pepperdine, got your business degree, and when did you graduate? What year?
I graduated in 94.
Okay, so 1994, you come out of college, Pepperdine. Did you know you wanted to get in the family business, or were you thinking, that's not really what I want to do? What were your...
I think it's like anything in life. When you're around something, sometimes you don't realize what you have, and you think that things are better on the other side of the world.
Sure.
And so when I went away to college, my goal was to be an attorney. So I wanted to go to law school.
Gotcha.
And I had my parents, unfortunately, they divorced when I was in college. Mm-hmm. And my dad and myself we had a great relationship, but unfortunately during the divorce, he thought I was siding more with my mom. So I actually got cut off.
Wow.
Yeah, this is an interesting story. I'm at Pepperdine, right? And I show up, this is my, and going to school there, I didn't have any grants or scholarships. Sure. I was, paying cash. And I go my second year, and I'm starting off my second year, and this is during the summer my parents were separating. So I go to class, and they call me in, and they said, hey, you got to go see finance. And I'm like, what the heck? So I go to the finance department, and they're all like, your tuition hasn't been paid. What the heck? So I call my dad, and I go, hey, Dad. He's all no. He says, you helping your mom out. You go ask your mom for money. I'm what the hell? So I'm like, oh shit. So I thought I was going to have to, drop out. Right. So I went in and there was a really nice guy, who, during my freshman year in college, we got together and we put together the Latin Student Association for Pepperdine. Mm-hmm. And he was our, kind of our mentor for it. And his name was, Israel Rodriguez. And he was the, finance director at the time. And I went in there and I said, hey, Israel, I said, I got some bad news. And I told him what happened. And he said, you know what? He said, don't go anywhere. I'll be back in a minute. He comes back and he full scholarship.
Wow.
I was like, man. And he says, and I got you a job. So he said, I got you a job working security here at night. So at night I was doing security, and then during the day I was going to school there. Yeah. And it worked out really good for it. But if it wasn't for Israel, I would have left, and who knows what. I told him, I'm going to leave, but I'll be back. Yeah. And I would have. But it was a great thing for him to be able to do that. Yeah. And so I at that point, I kind of, I was kind of pissed off on my dad.
Sure.
I thought it was unfair, but whatever. But it taught me a good lesson, I learned how to get around without help from the family, and it worked out pretty. It was quite a thing, and I remember working that freaking security gate, and all my dorm mates, they're all in a fraternity, and they would be coming back from partying all drunk, and I'd be like opening up the gate for them to all come in and
talking shit.
A bunch of girls all in their cars, and here I am, my little yellow jacket that said security on it. But it humbles you, and it. I used to be that part of the crew with them, and this is, different, and it was no big deal, man. It was just roll up your sleeves and get it done.
Yeah.
So I did, but when I graduated, my dad came to graduation. We started talking again, and he said, "Listen," he said, I'm done. I'm gonna, sell the business, retire, or if you want to take it over, you can. It's up to you." And I said, "Well, I'm gonna go to law school." And he said, "Well, why don't we do this? Take a year off, and come work, get the dealership, and run it." And I had ran it before. Even in high school, I was, before you were even allowed to sell cars, I was selling cars. I was desking deals. I was, people wanted to meet the manager, and the salesmen are like, "Oh no, he's he's busy right now." That's because there was a young kid behind the desk desking deals. That probably wasn't even supposed to be doing that. But I ended up taking that year and show up and we were small at the time. We had two little stores, and we were probably selling 30 cars a month, 40 cars a month. And between the two stores, so small. And I show up, and I'm like, "Well, what do you want me to do, Dad?" He says, "Well, I'm going to go on vacation." He said, just, run it. So he left for 6 months. Never heard from him. Just took off,
Just fucking out.
Yeah, just took out. He was out, Came back and checked on things and left again. And the decision I made was, he said, what do you think? Do you want to stay? Do you want to go? And I decided to stay. And what happened was that during that time, we had a lawsuit. And it was a harassment lawsuit against one of my employees from another employee. Mm-hmm. And after I went through that, first time I ever went through that. When I went through that, I decided, you know what? I don't want to be sitting on that side. I'm a businessman. That's what I do.
Sure.
So I know how to create things, how to lead people, and how to make something from nothing. And that's kind of what got me thinking, this is what I want to do. So I started building it from there, and built the company up, and started implementing a lot of things. At the time, we didn't even have technology. It was all, written stuff and hand contracts using a calculator.
No HR department.
There's none of that. No. I was everything, man. I was the HR. It was everything. I was the janitor. It was whatever you needed to do.
Sure.
And we started building it up, and started bringing in some marketing. So my dad didn't do any marketing at all. We were on Sierra Highway, where there was a bunch of new car lots.
Yep.
And then they built an auto mall, and they all left. But before the auto mall was built, his theory was, "Hey, I'm just going to be on the street. Everyone else is marketing. I'll just let people come down and buy cars from us, and I don't have to market."
Because, for people that don't know, Antelope Valley, Sierra Highway was kind of the main fucking drag in between Palmdale and Lancaster. So a lot of people did travel that
That road, it was busy. Yeah.
So it was a busy road at the time. I mean, I'm sure it still is, but
And
back in the day, it was like the main. I remember HW Hunter was on there, Dodge. Mercedes had one down the way.
Yeah, BMW.
There was a lot of car
Honda
lots.
store. It was all car dealers.
Yep.
And that was the main highway to get you from the Antelope Valley all the way to LA too at one time before they did the 14 freeway.
Before they did 14, yep. And then you could also take that to get out to Edwards Air Force Base. Yeah. So that was the main dig, which I'm sure when your dad didn't do the marketing, it was okay but times change. You have to implement change in order to achieve the goals that you want,
Yeah. And that's one thing about, success and doing well in your business is that you have to adapt, and you have to change, and you have to take risk.
Sure.
And, you have to throw your balls out and just take the risk, because it's just the way it is. And when you don't, then you're not going to grow. I mean, it depends on where you want to go. And I've always had a philosophy that if you're not growing, you're dying. And, so you always have to be doing stuff to keep going, and you got to be changing and adapting.
So as a business, since you have a business degree, do you believe the philosophy that is, there's two different, it's no risk, no reward, or the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. Do you believe in that? Do you believe that?
Yeah.
Or do you believe that it's really fucking hard work? Because like you said, man, you were a janitor, HR, fucking all. Had you not done that, do you think you would have been as successful?
No. So I think that the basic thing that you have to have is you have to work hard. That's just it. I mean, nothing comes for free. Money doesn't grow on trees. You just don't get lucky, and it happens. I mean, you might get a guy that buys a lottery ticket and gets lucky, right? But I mean, 99.9% of the time, it's all hard work, and it's the things that people don't know that you do. It's those late nights. It's missing the certain parties, not going to doing things, sacrificing some of the fun stuff in life to build something that you really believe in. And there was so many. I mean, when I was dating my wife, I would leave the office sometimes at midnight, 1 o'clock to go see her for an hour, to go to sleep, and then I'd be up at 5 to go hit the gym, and then back to work again. I'd get to sleep a couple hours a night because I was building something. I was passionate about what I was doing, and it was something that, hey, I'm going to get this done. And
now you have something built that's generational and you can be proud of.
Yeah. And over time, at the beginning, it's just you, and then over time, one thing I learned is always hire the best.
Yep.
So I always look to hire good people to come work for me.
Sure.
And make sure to have the values that I have, or that I have for the company.
Sure.
And just bring those people on board and just go for the best, and realize that it might take you 10 before you get one good one.
Yeah.
And you have to always be looking and looking and looking. And that's how you build it up, start building it up. And now I don't have to be there all the time. I've got people running it, and I've got a lot of employees, and I can step away, but I still have to be active in it. You still have to be a leader. You still have to,
Sure.
You have to show them, because and I see this a lot. You have successful companies where the owner lets it kind of go on cruise control, and it starts tumbling, and it's because he's not there. You need to be there, and you need to grow people, and that's one thing. I've got a friend that one time told me that his goal was for him not to have to be ever at his business, for it to be able to just run, and he had a good point. I think you still need to lead it, right? But he had a good point. You need to build a company so that it can work without you having to be there 24 hours. But at the same time, you have to lead it.
If you're not there as much, in my opinion, as a business owner, I don't believe that you can, because you get stagnant, right?
You do.
So if you're on cruise control, how the fuck do you end up making more money, or not even that, but creating more business and keeping you in everybody's mouth and everybody's remembers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without that, and you stay stagnant, of course, eventually it goes down. So, I still work a lot of long hours in my company. I also believe in what you said about the employees. I hire nothing but the best.
Mm-hmm.
I do pay a lot more than any other company ever in what we do. But I also have a crew that I know that if I'm not there, it will get done.
Yeah.
And I never have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about them, fucking off and doing other shit. And they get paid well. They respect me because I pay them well. And they know that I'm just not this guy, and it's important to lead by that too, which, you're at Camacho all the time,
Yeah. So I think what we have, Matt, is what you see is you have, and there's a good way to run a business, and that's with EOS, using EOS management. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's called EOS. And you get the book, Simon. Oh gosh, what's his last name? Sinex is a K or something like his last name. But it's about having meetings, 90-minute meetings with your team, and there's a whole philosophy around it, and it works really well. I use that for our business, and I have for several years. But there's one thing that in the book he talks about, and that you have a visionary and then you have an implementer in every company. And so a lot of times what you see is that the founder of the company is the visionary. And so that visionary is out thinking about what's the next move, where do we have to go? And then you have the implementer that gets the shit done. And so you have to have, sometimes when you're small, you're both. You're the visionary and implementer. But then once you get once you get to where you have employees working for you, you've got some staff on you, you can become just the visionary and have someone else that's implementing everything for you. But if you're the visionary and you decide that you're just going to go on cruise control, then your whole company is going to go on cruise control.
Yeah. You know, one of the biggest reasons, in my opinion, why you guys grew, which I want to talk a little bit about, which is the king of credit, right? No other car lots at the time, I believe, were implementing that king of credit, where even if you had a shitty credit score or it wasn't up to par, you guys would still loan on it, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. Was that your vision? Was that your dad? How did that even come about?
So we've always done a little bit of it, even when but it would be a situation where someone came with a really big down payment, and for some reason the bank didn't finance them, so we would finance them. So that was about the limit of it. And then I went to a convention one time, and I came across some guys that were doing some high risk financing, and I said, you know what, this is something that I could definitely do. It's not something that you see a lot in the Antelope Valley. At the time, there was a couple car lots that did it, but they did it on a small scale. And so I thought, you know what, this is something that I want to give it a shot at. So I did a lot of research, did a lot of studying to figure out, what's the best way to do it. And I started building it up. Started building up little by little, got to a point where I could go and acquire some capital, was able to get some capital, and then really blew it up. And it kind of worked out really good because in our industry, you have a lot of ups and downs. And when the economy gets tough, you'll see a lot of the banks will tighten up on their lending.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, you'll have car dealers that'll go out of business because they can't get people financed. And during those rough times, these higher risk businesses did very well.
Sure.
Because they were able to take in these good customers that couldn't get financed. They were able to put them in vehicles. So I thought it was a good combination. And I really my growth really happened during the recession in 08, 09. Mm-hmm. It was perfect timing. I acquired the capital. I kind of had an idea. I was looking. As part of being the visionary in the company, you're always looking ahead. What's going to happen in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. And you have to have kind of an idea of where you're at. And one thing that I saw that there was a recession coming.
Sure.
So raised the capital, and when that happened, I was ready to go. And we grew like crazy, and we started doing the financing. Yeah. And I came up with the king of credit because I came up with I don't know if you've seen my logo, the little lion. Yeah. Yeah, the little hat on. Yeah. And then the crazy commercials we do with our wearing the cape and with my wife on and everything. But I came up with that because I thought, okay, what's, again, you hire the best. Well, if I want to be the best, what am I? Well, you're the king, right? Yep. And then what am I the king of? Well, I'm the king of credit. I'm going to be the best at doing credit. And so we came up with that program. And the neat thing about it was we could do people all the way from high risk all the way to people with super good credit, and we can finance them all.
Sure. So on your in-house financing, or your king of credit, do you think that was your biggest moneymaker for the company?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah.
Okay. And you just attributed that to, I mean, kind of like what we talked about earlier, no risk, no reward, right? Like either you're going to do it or you're not.
And a lot of people go, hey, Gus, you gamble a lot in Vegas. I said, no, man, I gamble every day at the dealership, brother.
Right. Yeah.
Every day, are they going to pay me or are they not going to pay me? Yeah, and I would say more so that it was a good blend for the company, more so than, hey, I made all kinds of money doing that. That's not the case. It was something that during when times get a little bit tougher, our finance company starts doing really, really well. And when things are really good, then we tend to send more things to the bank. So it was a good way to help even out those ups and downs to make it more of a steadiness. Yeah.
So I asked this because I don't know what it is, man, but do you ever sometimes worry when it's slow that like your business will go under? I asked this because I've been in business 16 years and I still sometimes I get that, even though I know, right? Like we are the number 2 company in all of California. I just acquired 2 smaller companies, which is really, we should be number 1 in California by the end of this year. But, it's still like, we have slow at times too,
Yeah.
If people aren't dying, we don't have a business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like people go, oh, fuck, I need this or I need that, I can go to Camacho's or I can go to the hardware store. I can go do this. That's not how it works. You know, people that use us usually will use us one time in their entire life.
Yeah.
And then not again, unless it's like a big business, you know, car dealerships that have blood in the cars or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But do you ever go, fuck man, like make you nervous, right? Even though you got money in the bank and even though whatever, but does it ever make you go, fuck dude, like kind of, you know?
Yeah. And I think the longer that I'm in this, the more I think about it.
Yeah.
And I think it's because you work so hard to build something.
Sure.
And to think like, oh shit, you know, what if it all fell apart? Sure. And I had to rebuild it.
Yeah.
And the older you get, you're like, well, you know, now I got X amount of years left, or now I got X. Now I don't know if I could do it in that time, or can I? Yeah. So I think, I think when I was younger, I didn't give a shit. It was like, it didn't really matter. You know, I was like, you know, full throttle. And now as I'm getting a little bit older, and I tend to see myself getting a little bit more conservative on that kind of stuff, and worry. And it's just natural. It's just I think everyone does. You know, I don't know anyone in any business that I've ever talked to that doesn't worry about that.
Yeah.
And it's just something, even when things are good, you're like, because everything that goes up goes down, and it doesn't matter, you know, it's, can you make it back up again?
Yep.
And, you know, we've been through some really tough, I mean, there's been times where I don't know how I'm going to make the payroll. And the people look and they're like, oh my God, this guy's so successful. He's doing so well. And, you know, they're doing so good. And, you know, in the back scene, you're like, oh shit, I got to pay my employees next week. We got to scramble. I got to get a second on my house. I got to do this and that because things happen.
So let's talk about that. That's a great, because I get it all the time. It does frustrate me but then I have to look back at like people don't understand the business side of it, right? Where everybody looks at you or me or whoever it is that goes, oh, you're a business owner. Automatically, you're rich, you're fucking, you have no worries, you have no bills, da, da, da. But what I don't think people understand is that, in my opinion, I think we have a lot more to lose, right? We have employees that are under us that have to feed their families, not just your own, you know what I mean? And there was times when I first opened my company that they got paid and I didn't. You know, and that we would really have to buckle down, but everybody else was paid until some stuff came in. You know, do you feel that people look at you and go, oh fuck, you know, Camacho's richer and shit. He don't even know what it's like to, you know what I mean? You ever get that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you see it. They don't know what goes behind the scenes, and you do get that. You do get that quite a bit, especially when you know things are tight. And people are hitting you up for money left and right for whatever it might be, and you're like, oh my God, business is so tough right now. I wish they understood.
Sure.
You know, it's not that I don't want to do it, but it's just I got to pay my employees. You know, they got to come first right now. While we get through this tough time. And hey, I've been in the same boat. You know, don't take a paycheck. You know, just because you got to take care of the employees first, and they got to get paid. That's the most important thing. Yeah,
it's funny when because I clock in for the jobs and what it's just like a normal employee, and then I will write my hours down on the board, and then when I know everybody's paid and all the bills are paid, and I pay my rent for a year in advance because I what if myself to fucking death, bro. That's why I don't have any debt with the companies. It's important, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to have zero debt. So with that being said, I still what if myself to fucking death, man. It just what if, you know? And then you know, people don't get that, man. When it comes to business, it's really fucking hard to and you got to constantly smile, and you have to constantly be the best version of you that you can be, even on your bad days, right? You have to, because your business depends on it.
Yeah, your employees are looking up to you, and your customers come in, and you got to be, it's game time.
Yep.
You know, that's what I tell my crew is, you know what? As soon as we open the door, man, it's game time. It's showtime.
Yeah.
You know, if you had a problem at home or whatever, it's time to let that thing go, and it's time for you to become that person, because that's what they expect. You know, they expect the best customer service, and they don't expect someone all moping around. Right. And your employees, they expect someone that's a leader. They don't want, you know, they want to have that you know, the guy from the 300, you know, they're leading the freaking troops, right?
Right.
Yeah, they don't want the guy way in the back.
Yeah, right. So how long have you been married?
So we're going on to 20. Let's see, what year is this? 2024. We're going on to 24 years. See, this is I got married on July 1st, 2020. I mean 2000. Excuse me.
Okay.
So it'd be easy to remember that way. I know. I just can't. What year is this? 24.
Coming up on 24.
24 years.
And then how long did you date prior to that?
So we were dating for 6 years prior to that.
Oh, so you've been together a long time.
We have been together.
And then how many kids you got?
We have 4 kids.
Dope. So any of your kids in the car business?
Yeah, they've all been a part of it, but right now my son, he's very involved. He works full time for me.
Okay.
And then both of my daughters work part time for me. One a lot more than the other.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But they've all worked, at the dealership at some time, and we used to have friends say, "Oh my God, I can't believe you got your daughters out there detailing cars." Right. And it was like, you know what?
You're a slave driver.
Yeah, like I'm a slave driver. But you know what? It's they report you. They're going to report you guys. And I don't give a shit. You know what? It's hard work, and it's the way that they can appreciate hard work, because
teaching the value of a dollar.
Value of a dollar. Yeah, and if not, you don't know. If not, it just seems like it just does grow on trees.
That's right. That's right.
And you have to start off by working hard and work your way up. That's the way I did it, and that's the way that I want to see my kids do it. And it's worked out because they've all, whether they've worked for me or not worked for me and done other stuff and pursued their dreams, they've all done very, very well with what they do.
Yeah. And then your wife works for you too. Give your wife a shout out.
Yeah. Hey, Rhonda, I love you.
Hey,
baby.
Rhonda. What? Yeah. So she works for. What does she do there?
So she started off by helping with the marketing side. So she's our face. She's beautiful, sexy,
right?
And it represents everything.
Yeah.
That I'd want represented. She's the face of the company, and she's been known as Ginger, even though her name was Rhonda. Her screen name was Ginger because back in the day, people would call on the phone, and we didn't want them asking for Rhonda, so we'd say, "Ask for Ginger" in the commercial. Yeah,
right.
Call. And so that's the other day she told me that's how I know people, whether the people know me or didn't know me, because if they say I know Ginger,
right,
then they know that it's not Rhonda. Her name's Rhonda. Yeah,
right.
But so she did that, and then more recently she was in the business office helping out, running the business office and doing some stuff at the store. So yeah, she's involved. And then my son's one of our buyers, so he's buying cars and kind of growing them. He wants to run the company someday, so I would say he's buying cars, but he's doing a lot more than that. He's doing a little bit of about everything.
Yeah. So I have 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, and none of them want to run the company. They want zero to do with it. Even though it's very successful, money's great, they just don't want to do it, which, it does take a special person to do what we do, but they don't want to do it. It's
crazy. And you know what? Sometimes I also wonder, like my sons definitely get a want to do it, but it takes a special person to do it.
Sure.
So not everybody can do it. We were talking about earlier. It takes a lot of work, right? Well, it's a lot of stress too. I mean, the stress is out there, and you have to be able to handle it, because it's not always going to be good.
Yeah.
There's going to be some tough times where there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. I remember one time I was sitting at my desk, and I'm like, and I didn't know, one of my salesmen walked in who's been working for us. He still works for us. His name's Ricardo. He's been with us for, probably 30 years. And he walks in, and I'm on my desk, and I got a lot of shit going on. I might have my hands in my head, I'm stressed. And he walks in, I didn't realize, and I hear him, and he goes, "Maestro." He calls me the teacher, "Maestro." He's all, "Quería ser presidente," which means you wanted to be president, didn't you?
Right.
And I'm like, motherfucker. And then I always remember that.
Yeah.
If you want to be the freaking leader, then you better freaking be ready for it, brother.
Yeah.
Because it's not for everybody. Yeah. So yeah, it's not.
Yeah. It's like, everybody wants to own a business, work for themselves, make great money, but 80% of them don't want to put in the time and the work.
Mm-hmm.
I miss a lot of birthdays. I miss a lot of fucking anniversaries. I miss a lot of, soccer games. I miss tons of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But in order for me to build my dream of what this was, it had to be done, and same with you. I'm sure you missed a shit ton.
Oh, so many things. Yeah. So many things that we didn't do because of that. Now, the benefits are great, So some of the benefits that once you have something established and you are able to take time, you're able to be the best, do the best.
Yeah.
You do crazy stuff. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And you can fly private. You can go to places that most people can't.
Right.
You get VIP access everywhere you go.
Yep.
I mean, the benefits are cool, but it's a lot of the grinding that people don't realize.
But even at these events, I'll tell you right now, I've been to events with you. You're still working, right? You're marketing. You're still talking about business, and you're still talking about different things, right? Like so, it's almost like work doesn't stop for us.
It's 24 hours because you dream about it too, and you wake up in the night thinking about it, and you go to sleep thinking about it, and it just becomes you all the time. And it just never shuts off. You're absolutely right. You're always thinking business, and that's just the way it is. And I like it. I don't mind it at all. You know, and a lot of people, you know. I remember one time I had this girlfriend and she said, hey, you know, if you can't do a 9-to-5 deal, I'm just out, you know, and they said, well, then you're out, baby. Cause that's not the way I work. You know, I'm 24 hours and that's just the way I'm geared. And that's what I want to do. And some people want the benefits, but they don't want to put in the time.
Yeah. Yep. So if you sold the company tomorrow, what would you do? Like, what would be your ultimate, like, fuck it, I want to open this, or I want to try this, or whatever it is? What would you do?
Well, the first thing I would do is I would actually take some time off, and I would probably take, and I'd probably get bored as hell after a little bit. I would do
a couple months.
Yeah, a couple months of just freaking traveling, going to insane places.
Kind of like what your dad did.
Yeah, and doing a lot of fun stuff.
Gotcha.
And then coming back, and I've thought about that a lot because, you know, as my son's coming in and taking over, and you probably think about this too. Where is our industry going to go? Is the car business still going to be around in 10, 15, 20 years? I don't know. I mean, our mission is to improve the lives of our customers by providing outstanding transportation, financing, and service. Transportation, financing, and service will always be around.
Sure.
So we might be selling little airplanes that fly around town picking up people, you know, and financing them. So there might be a tweak to it, but it does cross my mind, and I don't know. I don't know what I would do.
No,
you know, it's one of those things where I've always, and maybe I'm wrong, but I've always believed that, you know, do what you know you're really good at. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you'll see people dabble in a lot of stuff, like they're tingling like a bunch of different things, and they end up doing shitty in all of it.
Yeah.
And the one thing that they did really well ends up going bad because they didn't pay attention to it.
They didn't focus on it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't have your hands in 10 different cookie jars and expect it to be fucking roses. You know, it doesn't work like that. You got to focus on that.
So if I did something else, it would be something that's related to what I'm doing now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would have to be related to the car business, it's just the stuff that I know.
Gotcha.
You know,
you wouldn't wander out and try to do something else, huh?
I probably would. Yeah. That's just because I like taking risks.
Yeah.
So
me too.
I would do something, and I'd probably kick myself in the butt for doing it later, but I would. Yeah. But I don't think I would throw all my eggs into it. I would probably test a little something here and there, but
it's hard, right? Because back in the day, like you said, you threw all your eggs into the basket because you didn't go to law school, right? Which was probably a fucking amazing move for you.
Yeah, it was a real good move.
And for me, same, right? Where I just said, fuck it, I'm going to throw my eggs in this basket, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. I'll work a 9-to-5. And had we not taken those risks, we wouldn't be here today, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you don't know. Yes, attorneys make great money, but, you know, is it really what you would have wanted to do? Your whole family's in your business, which is fucking dope, right? Like, it's you got everybody in there, you know, your wife, your kids, your brothers, your fucking, your dad still. I saw your dad over there a couple months back, right? Mm-hmm. Which is, you know, seeing him, it's kind of funny, right? Where it's just like, man, it all started with him there, right?
Yeah.
So, it's pretty amazing to have.
Yeah, and I've had cousins and uncles and aunts work for us over the years, and it's pretty neat. And you know, and then we've been able. The nice thing about it too is that we've been able to give back to our community a lot, and that's in our mission statement. And we've done so much over the years, and we've donated and done so many things. And I've sat on so many boards in the Antelope Valley, and a lot of nonprofits and stuff, and just really tried to give back because I do believe that. You know, God's been gracious and allowed us to do what we do, and the community has, and it's good to give back to the community that gives to you.
Sure.
And I think that's a really big, because at the end of the day, you know, when you die, what are you leaving?
What's it all for? Yeah.
Your kids and maybe being able to say that I did something good for our community and made it just a little bit better, right?
Yeah, your legacy to your children. You know, it doesn't always have to include financial. It's what you leave to your children, whether it's knowledge. It could be financial, but it could mostly is knowledge, and hopefully they will take that knowledge and build something for them, or at least teach, right? Because, you know, the way the world is going now with electric cars, right? Like, that was something that maybe you saw, but did you really think that it would be happening so quickly with all these electric cars and all the crazy shit, right? Like,
Yeah, I definitely didn't think it was going to happen as quickly as it has, and it's being forced on by our government.
absolutely.
Instead of letting it just kind of go on its own, which is what they should be doing. You know, I'm not going to get into the whole environmental thing and whether batteries are good for the environment or not or whatnot, but
Right.
there's been a lot of studies that it's not. I mean, there are studies that show that it's just they're just as pollutant as the gasoline is, but
Right.
you know, but I'm not an expert in that stuff. But what I can tell you is that I wasn't expecting it to happen as quickly as it has, and there'll still be a need for it. You know, we'll be selling electric, and we are you know, selling a lot of hybrids and starting to sell full electrics right now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Yeah, not a lot because there's not a lot out there. I will tell you that the demand's not there though. You know, you don't have people walking in saying that that's what they want to buy. And I think it's just that it's just taking some time. It's, you know, people are, you know, have to get upgraded chargers to get in their homes, and you know, you have to go and find a place to plug it in when you go somewhere. And if you got a Tesla and there's a line of people at the Tesla station, you got to wait an extra 20 minutes until somebody opens up and you can pull your Tesla in. So, and our infrastructure is not ready for it either. I mean, when they had rolling blackouts, they asked people not to charge their cars.
Right.
So you know, we're not quite ready for it, but it is coming a lot faster than we can. Yeah. And there'll still be a need to sell them. So, you know, that's what we do.
Yeah, you'll sell them.
We'll sell them. Yeah. We'll sell them.
What is your one? Let me ask you this first. How do you deal with bad PR? I ask that because every business has bad PR. I got maybe 1 or 2 or 3 bad reviews, and I'm a big fuck you type of dude. Like, go eat a dick. Like, I'm sure my philosophy isn't your philosophy. How do you deal with people like that say, "Oh, Camacho robbed me," or "Oh, the interest rate's too high," or "Oh, fucking, I missed a payment, so they repoed my car"? All the bullshit that everybody hears, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, let's talk about that. How do you deal with that, right? Obviously, they sign contracts. They know the fucking deal, right? If you don't pay your car, it gets repossessed. Listen, you know, don't cry about bullshit if you created it, right?
Yeah, I mean, reality is if I don't make my mortgage payment, or if I don't personally, the business doesn't pay their bill,
that's it.
The bank's gonna come and shut me down.
100%.
So it's all about responsibility.
Right.
Yeah, you know, you got people out there that we whenever someone complains, we always respond. And our deal is that we respond our way, and we take care of them as much as we can.
Sure.
But sometimes the complaint is something that you just can't take care of because it's unreasonable, and you have people out there that are, we all have them. We've seen them. You know, we all have that family member that just complains about everything in life, and it doesn't matter how perfect it is. They're still unhappy. So those unhappy customers, we just choose not to do business with them in the future. Yeah, that's just the way we are. We put them on a do not sell list, and we won't sell them another car, and we won't do business with them.
Oh, so you do have a do not sell list?
Yeah,
a blacklist.
Yeah, we do.
Fuck yeah.
I
wish you brought that. I'd fucking blast these motherfuckers all day.
Yeah, so we do. But you'll also see a lot of people that whenever someone does post something, they'll defend us, and they'll say, you know, what do you expect if you got bad credit, right? You have to start off with a high rate and work your way back down. And we do. We also have a lot of customers that buy from us. 40% of our business is repeat and referrals. And we report credit on our finance company reports credit. So if if they pay good and they also don't do other stuff to bring bad credit, when they come back to see us again, we can go ahead and get them financed through another bank.
Gotcha.
At a lower rate. And then maybe even sell them a brand new car, sell them a brand new Mitsubishi from our Mitsubishi store. And we have a lot of those people that they do that, and they are so grateful and they're so thankful. The ones that are usually that we see complaining are usually the people that are responsible. Sure. But you know, sometimes we'll get a complaint that they've got a legit reason. You know, they bought something and they're not happy with it, and maybe right after they leave, they got an issue with it, and we got to take care of it.
Sure. You
know, that we're not going to back away and say, oh, you know, you're on your own. That's not the way we do it. We haven't been around for this will be 44 years in business, and you know, you're not around that long by not taking care of your customers because you won't have any. So it's about the customer service, but it's also about realizing that there's going to be a very small percent of those folks that there's nothing you can do to make them happy, because that's just the way they are.
That's just that's the way they were brought up. It's the way it doesn't matter if you had unicorns out there shooting fucking fireballs out of their ass, they're just not going to be happy. They're not big enough. They're not this. They're not that. It is what it is,
There's even people that are not happy going to Disneyland, right?
Yeah, miserable going.
They're miserable going to Disneyland, right? Yeah. And the happiest place on earth. So that's just the way it is. But customer service is really important. Yeah. I think it's the foundation of any successful business is having good customer service.
That's good. One last question or so before we wrap up. What is your biggest regret in the business?
Oh, that's a good one. Huh?
Yeah. Every business owner has one, right?
Yeah.
Like I have one. I have two that were just like big fucking like, God damn, what was I thinking or what was I doing? Like what is your one regret that you're just like, dude, like, maybe you knew better and you did it any fucking way, or you know what I mean? Like, or one that you're just like, man, like I should have done better. I know I'm better. Why did I?
Yeah. There's been a couple. I think, there's been some opportunities to buy facilities by someone, and I just decided not to drag my feet. And then later I saw it blow up and do really well, and said I could have done that.
You're like, fuck.
Yeah, or seen it not do that great, and I said, man, I could have done so much better than that. So there's been a couple of those. It's sometimes it's not acting quick enough.
Yeah.
But then again, there's been a lot of times where if I would have acted a little bit faster, I would have made a bad decision.
It's a gamble too,
It's a
right?
gamble,
Like everything is it's perplexed, right? Like you have to get the right moment. You're good at business. I'm good at business. I feel like when a business fails, I always look at it and I go, fuck, I would have done this, and this. And in my mind, I'm like, fuck, it would have done better. But do we really know that? We don't know that, right?
Yeah.
I try to be as knowledgeable as I can in the field that I am in. I still, to this day, will learn things, and OSHA, the regulations that come out, sometimes they'll tweak them a little bit here and there, and for different safety things. And same with you, right? Like I'm sure you learn, right? All the new shit that's coming out, all the new warranties that they have, all the ins and outs. Because if not, you won't be as successful as you are, right?
Yeah, the compliance side is so tough, and part of it's our state, but there's so much compliance. I spend a lot of money every month on compliance, just on learning all the new stuff, and there's so much new stuff that comes around the board, and a lot of it you have to deal with technology to be able to handle it now, because you can't do it. I will say that it's very difficult to get into the car business right now as a small guy.
100%.
You have to come in as a medium-sized guy or higher, because it's just the little guys just opening up a little car lot. There's so much compliance and there's so much regulation that you have, so many things that you have to do that you can't survive off just selling a couple cars a month. There's just no way.
Yeah. I tell people this all the time, I got in right at the right moment.
Yeah.
Or if you opened up one of my companies, right, it cost you $1.5 million.
Yeah.
Just to open.
Yeah.
That's just to open the fucking doors.
Yeah.
So people don't understand that, right? Like, if it's your passion, man, you just fucking do it, and if it fails, you just work harder at it, man. Mm-hmm. You have to make your business successful.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to do it for you.
No one is. And sometimes you think like, why didn't they do that? And I think, well, that's because they're not me.
Yeah.
The only person that cares about your business is you.
That's right.
And so
100%.
Yeah, that is.
It doesn't matter how much you pay them. Doesn't matter, because they will always in the back of their mind go, fuck, well, I'm making this dude money. How come I'm not? You know what I mean? And it's never good enough. Never. Even though you've been in the business 30 years, but you got this kid in there that's selling a bunch of cars. Well, I'm making this dude a ton of money. Well, that's your job, right? That's what you got hired to do. If not, go open your own shit.
Yeah. And I again, I've got really good employees that do care about our company, but at the end of the day, they care about the company, but it's not like when it's your baby.
Right.
It's a lot different. Yeah.
Right,
it's a lot different. Even if they care about it and everything, it's your baby. So,
yep.
That's just like anything in life, it's all about what you put into it.
Yeah. Well, let's tell everybody out there where the fucking dealerships you're at. You got one in Palmdale.
Yeah, we actually have two. We have the Mitsubishi dealership in the Palmdale Auto Mall, and then we have the used car dealership in the Palmdale Auto Mall.
Yep, they're right across the street from each other, right?
Yeah, right across the street. And then in Lancaster, we have a store on Sierra Highway.
Okay, so those three stores.
Yeah.
Then go there and they get the king of the credit. They
Got
can
the king
get
credit. Yeah, we got all kinds of
some
financing
fucking
options.
cars.
We got some great. Mitsubishi's a great product.
Gotcha.
So we picked up that franchise back in 2014, and just last month we were the highest volume Mitsubishi store in the West Coast.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we're excited about that. We've done that a couple times. I think that was the second or third time, and we've done that in the last 6 months. So
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
And congratulations on all your success, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, you and Rhonda, you guys doing good, man. And that's again, you guys have if people live in the Antelope Valley, there's or even lived in close area, Santa Clarita or wherever, the Camacho name is pretty, prevalent. Everybody knows the fucking Camachos, right? So
I think they all know the
congratulations.
crazy commercials that we've done over the years. Yeah.
But that has built your brand,
Yeah, it
right?
has, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the whole point in that, right? Some people look at it and go crazy commercial, but was it crazy? No, it was a fucking gimmick, and you did excellent, right? You put your wife on there who's hot, right? Like you did all this shit that made it work. you
Yeah,
know?
we wear costumes and did all the silly stuff. Yeah, but it's all about that's the one thing about marketing. You have to be different than everybody else.
Yeah.
And if you have a business and you're exactly like everyone else, then why would they come to you?
Yep.
So there's got to be something unique about it. And I've always thought about that. You always have to think outside the box. And I tell all my crew, I said, guys, you have to think about outside the box. Always be thinking about outside the box, because if you're not, the competitor is.
Yeah. No,
So
100%.
you have to be thinking like, what can I do different? How can I make myself look different than everybody else?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we chose to go wacky and funny with our commercials, and some people hated them, but they still remember them.
But that's it. It's as long as they remember it, whether they hate it or not. If they talk about it, you did your job. So what's the website?
CamachoAuto.com or CamachoMitsubishi.com. Pretty simple.
Fucking two of them. There you go.
Yeah.
And where can they find you on the Instagram?
I'm kind of old school.
Oh,
so
no Instagram?
I do, but I don't even know what my Instagram posts are.
All right, look up Camacho. He's somewhere on there.
But you know what? I'm going to do something, because I told my wife, you know what? I gotta get back, and I gotta get away from all my traditional old shit and get more modernized. So
Got you.
I'm gonna start taking some lessons from you, brother.
Yeah, I'll get you on there. We'll get you set up, and we'll get everybody. So if you need a car, you need a van, you need any of that, go see Camacho. He's even got covered wagons, donkeys, whatever the fuck you need for transportation.
Yeah, I told you I even got a hauler right now that I'm getting rid of. Yeah,
Right?
car hauler.
Enclosed trailers. He's got it all. So go see Gus, and he'll take care of you.
And we take anything for trade in too.
Anything.
Oh, we've taken some crazy stuff in. We've taken pigs. We've taken
Even better.
weapons. We've taken
all of it.
We've taken everything, man. Whatever.
Bleep that out for the
Diamonds.
ATF.
Yeah,
Fuck you,
divorce
ATF.
rings, whatever, all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, I got you.
whatever, whatever you've got that you can want to use, we'll take it in.
Got you.
Yeah,
All right. Well, thanks for coming on today, man. Thanks for being a guest. I hope this was some business lessons for everybody can learn. Check out new episodes every day or every Wednesday for Dying to See Me. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, all that bullshit at Dying to See Me. You can also go on the website dyingtoseeme.com and pick up some merch and hats and bloody tampon, whatever you want to get. We'll see you next Wednesday.
All right, peace.